Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever and whenever you are joining us. Welcome to our latest edition of What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, I'm your host, the coach Nick Vesci, joined by the boy Stephen Vesci.
What up?
And here as a replacement for the man Stephen Comlow, gracing our presence is the great Doug Howard.
Let's go, boys.
Yes.
Good to be back. It's good to be back.
Yes, this is make it the show of the year right
Let's
now
do
with Doug. Now, before we get into our top catch for the evening, just a reminder to follow us on all of our social media. That's on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Now, without further ado, we'll get into our top catch for the show. And this week, we went with the New York Knicks. The Knicks are rolling right now, as Fred Durst would say. Winners of 7 straight playoff games, the last 3 against Atlanta to close that opening series out, and then all 4 against the Sixers in the second round. They have advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight year. Last year, they had gotten there for the first time in like 25 years, I believe. So this is almost unprecedented. I mean, it is for basically people our age and anyone younger have ever seen this. They closed the series out with a 144-114 victory in Game 4 over the aforementioned 76ers to complete that sweep for Mike Brown's club, which I forgot Mike Brown was the coach. I thought it was Thibodeau, but I remember they fired Thibodeau after they lost in the conference finals last year. And Mike Brown is as good a replacement as you're going to get. It's the first time New York has swept a best-of-7 playoff series since they did so to the Hawks in 1999. In Game 4, the Knicks tied the postseason record for most threes in a quarter with 11 in the first, in a half with 18 in the first half, and in a game with 25. So, arguably, they had the best shooting performance statistically wise that there's been in the playoffs. The Knicks beat the Sixers by an average of 22.25 points per game in those 4 games. New York's 19.4 average margin of victory through the first 2 rounds is the largest since 1984, when the playoffs first expanded to 16 teams. Now, Doug, what say you about the state of the New York Knickerbockers?
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I'm happy for you guys. You guys have another good, stable basketball team again this year. But we've seen the Knicks, have some good playoff runs recently. So I'm clapping it up for New York Knicks. I'm happy for y'all. But this is where they really gonna have to show themselves again. Hawks, great story, but they were not. When you have McCollum as your best player, it's not a great adversary in the first round, and they still lost their, couple games in that series. And then they get the Sixers, who won their championship the series before against beating the Celtics. They were just happy to get past the Celtics in 7 games, come back from 3-1. Embiid was not in the best shape going in that Knicks game. I think even missed the game as well. So it's great. They took care of business. Let's give them their props. But let's not start thinking NBA Finals, yet. I think the Pistons will get by the Cavs, and we've seen the Pistons this season already take it to the Knicks. Last season, you could make a case that the Pistons were a caller away from winning that series against the Knicks. Pistons will not be afraid. Pistons will go in being confident, and this is going to be if the Pistons get by the Cavs, it will be a great series, and I think it's not going to be a sweep. But yeah, Brunson's playing great. The team's playing great. They're getting great role playing off their wings. OG is playing unbelievable as well. So yeah, they're looking good. But it's going to be a whole different test coming up here.
Yeah, boy. Do you know who led all scorers in Game 4?
I'm guessing Deuce McBride.
Correct. Miles McBride had 25 points to lead all scorers because he started in the place of the aforementioned OG Anunoby, who was nursing something there, whatever, I don't know. But yes, more than anyone on either team, which I thought was wild. Now,
awesome.
Yes.
Awesome at West Virginia.
Yes. Now, Doug, who do you think would be a worse matchup for the Knicks in that conference finals, Cleveland or Detroit?
I think just because you got to look at the history and the season of how they played, you got to say Pistons is going to be a tougher matchup just because of recent memory. They the Pistons are going to go in with that series one, believing they should have won last year. If you remember, there was that play in the corner where there was some debate on the foul call, if it should have happened or not when the Pistons had the last shot. So they're going to go into that game with bulletin material, thinking we missed one last year. This is time to get them. And this season had some success against them as well. So I like that. I think that's going to be the tougher series. Cleveland has a good offense, but their defense is still yet to be determined. And I think the Pistons will muck it up. Pistons will be physical. They're going to be physical with Brunson. They're going to be physical down low with Towns. They will bring the physical presence, and they will try to wear Brunson out. They're going to put Thompson on him, pick him up full court. And the longer that series goes, the tighter those legs are going to be for Brunson, because it is going to be a defensive pressure that he has not seen yet in the playoffs. So I think they're going to be wanting the Cavs to come out.
Yeah, so do you think, I mean, obviously, right, you would change your approach depending on the team, but if you saw a Pistons-Knicks series, you're thinking first team that gets to 95, 100 wins that game, right? You might.
Yeah, if you get over 100, you probably win.
Yeah.
No doubt. Which is different than the series, again, that they've been playing. They put 144 as 144, 114, right? That's just crazy, right? And it's going to be a whole – and that's the other thing, too. It's like when you go from a couple series that are up and down, wide open, and then all of a sudden you have a guy in your grill every time you come down the court, and guy throwing elbows into your back on rebounds every single possession, it could be a wake-up call. So that first game is, I think, one of the most interesting games, because it's going to be such a difference in the dichotomy of the two series of what they've been facing is going to be really interesting to see, and it's going to be a tough challenge.
Now, I feel like the Knicks have kind of, like you alluded to, like they benefit by really having the best draw of any team in the playoffs, right? Like you said, the Hawks, great story, but you're right. When your leading scorer CJ McCollum, as awesome as his career has been, it really has for a kid out of Lehigh who got his exposure by upsetting Duke single-handedly, right? When he, aging in his probably late 30s at this point, is the one picking, being the tone setter for your team. I was shocked the Hawks got 2 games. To be honest, it wouldn't matter. And then you got, I don't want to say lucky, but like you said, the Sixers emptied the tank to take out Boston, and Boston would have been, to me, the biggest threat in that conference because of we've talked about championship pedigree. No one else has that in that conference except for Boston. So, how much of this is lining up for, like, if Cleveland were to beat Detroit, how much of this has been lined up perfectly, as perfect you could get for New York?
It is going to be interesting. Now, hey, just a little side note for all you listeners out there, put some respect on the name, CJ McCollum. I got my first collegiate start the game after playing most of the second half against CJ McCollum in Lehigh.
Yes,
I played well enough against CJ McCollum in Lehigh that I got my first collegiate start the next game. So just I'm always going to be pro CJ McCollum, just to hype myself up. The better he is, the better it looks for me.
Do you remember what you held him to shooting?
Well, so here's the thing. He scored. They were up big once. I got in about 10 minutes left in the second half and played basically the rest of the second half, and they were kind of at that point up. So he didn't score much against me, but when he was actually only in the game for like 2 or 3 minutes, 10 minutes.
Still counts,
but it still counts. And I guarded him a few possessions. Now the half before, he put up some buckets. He had, I think, like 25, the most efficient 25 you'll ever see in college basketball.
Like, when you were watching him playing against him, were you like, this dude's an NBA player? Like, this guy will play next level? For
sure, because he got his points so efficiently. Nothing was tough. Nothing was hard. You're like, oh man, we're keeping him in check. And you look up at the scoreboard, you're like, no, we're not. Shoot. But it kind of seemed like that, right? It wasn't a hard 20. Things just came easy for him, and it was, you could just see that he could get every shot what he wanted, basically.
So is that needless to say you were not surprised when they upset Duke? Like, you're like, I could have seen this coming.
Yeah. I actually picked that just because I knew those everyone in the mid majors, you know the other good players in the mid majors, you know how good they are. So I'm like, dude, no one's talking about this kid, but this kid was like one of the best players we've seen, right? You know, the same thing when we played Harvard one year, we played against Jeremy Lin early in the season, his senior year, and like we couldn't stop him. He hit a 3/4 length buzzer beater in the fourth overtime to beat us.
Oh my gosh.
And he had like 30 something points. And it's funny because no one was talking about we're like, this kid is unbelievable. And then the next game is when he actually got on ESPN, because the next game they played UConn, and that's when like they lost by like 5, and like he put up like 26 against Kemba Walker. And that's when his name started getting out there.
Were either of those guys, did you like when you like saw them at first, like this guy looks different, or were they just kind of blended in and then once play started you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, both of those guys, they didn't pass the eyeball test. Obviously Lynn, he's not going to shock and wow you with, but once he starts playing and how smart he came off ball screens, it was like, oh, this guy's seeing the game at a different level. There's not really he kind of commands the entire game, and it's super easy for him. Same thing with McCollum. McCollum was a little bit different. He was kind of built like an NBA player already, and kind of moved like one. So, side note, didn't mean us to keep lost track, but kind of fun.
No, I love it because I asked that because of, when you look at McCollum, he looks, even with like how big these guys are out there, he looks pretty good sized. Like obviously this guy's a guard, right? But he looks like he's, especially like you said, a mid-major level, like possibly could be like, okay, this guy's built like he's got a couple different joints in him that we don't.
He moved and looked different for sure. But yeah, by the way, bringing it back to the Knicks, the question, just to give you an example of what I was saying about the Pistons, New York Knicks were 0-3 against the Pistons this year, 2-1 against the Cavs this year. So if I'm a Knicks fan out there, the series is 2-2. I'm all over the Cavs right now.
No, I buy that, and not to fully disparage James Harden, but I've never been the biggest fan of him, and part of it is because it feels like he's just out there to get his own points and statistics, and that comes at the expense of defense, like you said. Cleveland's defense has been suspect. I feel like every team James Harden's been on, their defense has been poor, and some of that is either lack of want to or lack of skill or ability for him on the defensive end, especially when he's going to be out there playing almost every minute because on many offenses he's your focal point. And yeah, he's not the number one option in Cleveland, but was brought in there to be the number 2 option or 1B option at times. So I feel like the Knicks could, if they got into a scoring matchup with Cleveland, could easily hold their own or surpass them, because I'm not seeing, like you said, that efficiency, that ease. You're not having that come out of Cleveland all the time. So if they're going to have to play any defense, they might be screwed.
Yep. Agreed.
But I do love Jarrett Allen. I will say that. I'm a big Jarrett Allen fan. Also a fan of Jared Allen, NFL Hall of Famer.
The Vikings player.
Yes, I'm a big fan of him as well, but also of Jarrett Allen. The different elements that he brings to the table, I think that could be something where if they were to advance past Detroit, that he could be an X factor, especially like you said, providing defense against Karl-Anthony Towns down low that Towns really hasn't seen up until this point in the playoffs. So interesting stuff there to look for. Anything else Knicks-wise before we move on?
No, I mean, the last thing is just if Josh Hart shoots it the way he did in that final game in the Sixers, that opens up a lot of things for them. You just got to hope that he continues that hot streak. Because if he can make outside shots, that relieves a lot of pressure off Brunson. So if you're a Knicks fan, you're just hoping that's a sign of things that continue to come.
Yeah, I do. I do think. I think we said it last year too about the Knicks' success is going to have to rely on the supporting cast. So Josh Hart's, the Mikal Bridges, the Deuce McBrides, like those guys getting buckets so that it's not all on Brunson. Because Brunson has the ability to take over games, but how often have we seen for any team where a guy goes out there and he drops like 52 points, but they lose because it's not enough for the collective effort from the other team. So you're right. If Josh Hart and those guys come out firing like that, man, they will be tough to beat over there, especially because I think the East is a lot weaker of a conference. I don't know what you think, Doug. It just seems like there's more. Just when you look at the number of Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers, which I know is not always the best indication or indicator, but man, I feel like the West is just loaded with that. Whereas the East is you got guys that are nice stories.
Yeah, any team that comes out the West is going to be favored in the finals.
I agree with that.
Yep.
I agree with that. Yeah, anything else before we move on to our 3 strikes, boy?
No. Haven't watched a second of the NBA finals. Been watching a lot of hockey.
It's a self-proclaimed 3-point specialist. Good for you.
I was
There's a thing called this multi-view. Is it, heard of it?
Yeah, you have YouTube TV, boy.
I've been watching every hockey and basketball game. Multi-view it up, baby.
Because I don't want to multi-view that. I've been multi-viewing hockey, baseball, and lacrosse. That's been my multi-views.
I do like lacrosse.
Lax Bros. All right.
Yeah. All right, boy. Hit the button. Who wants the first strike?
I'll go first.
All right, boy.
I'll go first. Here we go. I'm going to start with a little college baseball action because college baseball doesn't get as much run and kind of deservingly so. It's a little tougher to watch than the MLB. There's a reason why there's 3 levels between college and professional. But it's always nice having your team start to do well. And West Virginia baseball just went into Kansas, who was ranked number 7, and West Virginia was number 15 going into that series. Go into Lawrence, Kansas, sweep Kansas. They are now 1 back of the Big 12, and now, like, the bigger story is that they're in position to host a regional. So in college baseball, you get to host, like, the top whatever seeds, I think, 16?
16, yeah.
Get to host the regional, which is always a big deal. Pretty big advantage there. Max Yell had a complete game in the opener on Friday.
Wait, that's a thing still?
What?
I thought they got rid of complete games. I thought that wasn't.
He threw 125 pitches.
I thought you weren't allowed to do that. I thought there was some rule that the baseball god said you are no longer allowed to throw this many pitches.
This isn't Little League World Series. This is big boy baseball, and this isn't Little League 15-year-olds.
Exactly, which is kind of wild because West Virginia put in like a $5 million basically like pitching lab. So you would expect them to understand exactly how these pitchers' arms are going. So maybe they're seeing something with him where they're allowing him to go longer. But 125 pitches. Yeah.
I have seen college pitchers go a lot further in the past because they have more days of rest. Like the next time that guy pitches was probably going to be 7 days, right? So those extra couple
Friday
days.
Starter, a Saturday starter, a Sunday starter, right? And then you usually have a midweek like throwaway game type.
Yeah, because those games in the middle of the week are like your non-conference, like, oh hey, Rutgers. Right, yeah, Rutgers wants to play Binghamton on Wednesday. Okay, well,
right.
No disrespect to the Binghamton Bears.
Yeah, wow.
That's just the first one that came to my mind. Maybe I should have said Siena.
Another one. Just throwing colleges under the mat. I love it.
Or what
New York ones?
What former great left-handed pitcher for the Nats is from Siena? This is the early days of Nats. Lefty starter.
There's no way I'm getting this. A lefty starter?
Yes. No?
You're gonna have to give it to me.
Wait, hold up. Did he throw like a lot of junk?
Yeah, kind of like he wasn't out there blowing it past people. There for a few years.
I don't want to cheat. Go ahead.
John Lannon.
There was no way I was getting
No.
I was thinking
he is, I think, the most distinguished Siena Saints baseball alum up until this point. So
nice trivia.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, go in there. A couple other Mountaineer position players I do want to highlight. Armani Guzman, third baseman. He just got 30 stolen bases for the season. The only other Mountaineers with 30 plus stolen bases in a season are who, Nick? And it happened fairly recently.
I'm going to go with JJ Weatherholt and Jed, the Jerko store called You're Running Out of Shrimp. Or
You're half right. JJ Weatherholt. And actually, his teammate.
What's his face? The outfielder, Victor Scott the second. Is that it?
Yes, Victor Scott the second. Yep, they played on the same team at West Virginia back-to-back years, went 30-plus stolen bases. Now on the same team in St. Louis, which is pretty cool.
I really wanted Jed Jerko to be the answer.
It was not, unfortunately, it was not the Jerko store.
Even though he stole like 6 bases his whole career, still wanted that to be.
He was a short little stubby, like he looked like exactly how'd this guy make it from this was West Virginia baseball, this short little guy that somehow made it to the show. I think he's got over 100 home runs on the show, which is pretty good.
It was amazing, yeah.
That's awesome.
It's like if Costanza was playing baseball.
Pretty much. It's kind of what it looked like.
He's but with hair.
Calculating the velocity v the trajectory. Simple physics. And the other player I want to mention is Gavin Kelly, who is actually one of the best players in college baseball right now. He's mainly a catcher, but he plays second base and outfield. Like his versatility is one of the big things that's
Craig Biggio.
Yeah, it's one of the big things that's going to get him to the next levels. One of the best hitters in college baseball as well. So wanted to highlight those guys. Big week for West Virginia baseball to get into the hosting contention. And they have a chance to win the Big 12 again, which they won last year. I think the share of the title maybe last year and then 2 years before that. So they've been winning the Big 12 I think 2 out of the last 3 years. So
wouldn't it be something if UVA winds up in their region? Because UVA is on a massive backslide. They're going to be like almost a bubble team at this point, even though they may spent most of the year ranked in the top 15. But wouldn't that be something if WVU hosts and UVA is the 2 or 3 seed in their region? Would you go to that?
Well, I would love to go to that, but I can't.
Why? And why is that?
I have, a child that should be born here any second now.
You have another one there to help.
Yeah.
That's
true. But no, I would love to go to that. That would be awesome. But I expect West Virginia to be hosting the next few years anyway. The investments they've made, like we talked about before, their billionaire donor is a baseball guy. He's the owner of the Diamondbacks. So they will always be investing heavily in baseball. And beside, the only national championships West Virginia has is rifle.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect them to have a national championship other than rifle in baseball.
Well,
within 5 years.
How many other championships, just compared to some, schools of the same size and caliber, how many more of that do they have than Virginia Tech?
They have a lot. Let me look at West Virginia rifle championships.
Oh, we're gonna go that far because
we have 20 of them or something. It's 21.
Oh, and remind me again, how many does Virginia Tech have?
Virginia Tech has 0. They have 0. They have a nice trophy case saved up for when they, possibly get one, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah. Okay. I just
with James Franklin at the helm.
I didn't know if anything had changed since the last time we had spoken. You bring up all these.
They're still big. Our rifle team is like UVA swim and dive. That's pretty much what it is. We just constantly win, but we're also beating the academies.
I was about to say, who are it's probably the U.S. Navy, Army, Air Force, and then
Navy is always up there. It's Navy, Army's up there. I don't think Air Force shows out well. And then it's always there's a school in Alaska, and then there's
because they do that so they don't die by polar bear.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think Kentucky does really well as well, which makes a lot of sense too. So
I can see that.
Those are your main rifle leaders.
How many schools even have an NCAA sanctioned rifle team?
It's 15. It's not a lot. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's
It's got to be more than that because
around-
I swore I read that like hockey has the least amount of.
Does it really?
Yeah.
I mean, it is a NCAA sanctioned national
Yes.
championship, so they have to have enough to do something there. So I mean,
'Cause-
lacrosse doesn't have a lot.
No, it doesn't. But men's doesn't, but women's does because you're able to have more women's teams because of Title IX, because you have so many of your scholarships over with the football side for the male sports. So that's why so many of like I think I just saw Virginia Tech did just lose the national title for the club lacrosse.
The club lacrosse, yeah.
Was that BYU they lost to?
Yep.
I thought I saw. So you have like those teams, like there are dudes on some of those club lacrosse teams that legitimately could be pros. Like
No, what I thought a guy did get drafted.
yeah, I thought I saw that too. Like in like the D2 and D3 levels, like there are legit dudes out there lacrosse wise because the opportunities to be at that D1 level are not there for men's lacrosse. That the talent has to go somewhere. And it's a big enough sport that there's a lot of talent. And it spread so much, but yeah, that just thought that was.
Speaking of lacrosse, I don't know if you watched any of that this weekend.
I mean, did you watch a lot when we were at our parents' house? Wilt's chasing my
not that, but there were
Hellspawn.
There were two games I wanted to watch, and I ended up watching them. And of course, it was Richmond losing to Duke at home.
Of course, blowing a lead there.
Blowing a lead, which Richmond was 14-1 in the year, ranked number 1 in the country at one point.
Mm-hmm.
They actually set the record for the largest crowd.
Largest
crowd in the first round of an NCAA lacrosse game.
Yep.
I was like, this is pretty sweet. And it was like, how you cannot lose this game. Of course you do. But that's another team like Duke that underperformed during the regular season, but has way more talent than everyone else. And then your Virginia Cavaliers, your Who's.
A terrible second half.
Blowing that. Yeah. Jeez.
I mean, they had like 6 offsides.
The turnovers were horrible too.
Like an offside's literally just a communication thing. Like, hey, I'm going to stay on this side, or you go over there. Let's not cause a turnover, and then just like 3 of them like back to back. It was sloppy. It was
horrible, and it
was like a train wreck.
But the national championship, like the Final Four or whatever for lacrosse, is in Charlottesville this year. It's at Scott Stadium.
Sweet.
Football stadium.
A completely missed opportunity for Richmond and UVA to get there.
Pressure
that would have been sweet. I think the last time Doug was at Scott Stadium was when William & Mary beat UVA in football.
Oh, I was a freshman. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's
we were selling shirts in the campus school store, and by the spring, 3-0 William & Mary 3-0 versus the ACC because we beat UVA in football that fall, and then our basketball team, we beat Wake Forest and Maryland in basketball.
Both of that's pretty good.
So like they were campus T-shirts, William & Mary versus the ACC 3-0.
Do you have one?
Up here. No, I didn't get one.
Like you just cut the sleeves off.
You know what? That was an opportunity miss. I should have bought one.
I love it. Anything else, boy, before we hit the button?
No, that's it.
All right,
wait.
He's just button mashing.
I'm mashing it.
I mean, I just got to say, where else can you get rifle sports knowledge on any sports podcast out there? I mean, I got to say, we're just giving the listeners just all around just a wide breadth of sports knowledge. I don't think you could get on any podcast. Find me one sports podcast where you get rifle national championship news. All
Never.
Right, sorry, just got to compliment the boy over there.
All right, hit the button again.
Let's keep doing it.
And you've got a laser. You could pepper that in there too.
I do love that laser. It's a pretty good laser.
There we go. Yeah, that'll wake you up. All right, Doug, there's your strike for this week.
All right. The strike is the biggest news of the week, which happened on Sunday, the NBA Draft Lottery. And my whiz kids, throw it up. We got the number 1 pick. Finally, some good luck in the draft lottery. things are looking up in Chocolate City. We got the number 1 draft pick. We didn't get screwed by the lottery, and it's actually a good lottery. It's a great season to be number 1. Um, but it's interesting because a lot of things happen in this NBA draft. That's one of them. But this draft had a lot of moving parts. It was basically a lot of people think it's a top 4 draft. The top 4, you can't go wrong. But even 1 through 10, from 5 through 10, you're going to get, it's one of the deepest drafts I think people think since 96, that even if you get 1 through 15, it is also deep. So 1 through 4, there's a tier, but then 5 through 12 are players that would be top 5 picks in most other drafts. So there's that. There's, one of the craziest things that happened is that the Pacers made this deadline deal, the trade deadline, which I talked about on one of my podcasts, which was a trade for the LA Clippers center, Zubac, for a top 4 protected, a first-round draft pick that's top 4 protected. Basically, the Pacers got the Clippers center. They gave them back their first-round pick. The only reason they wouldn't lose that pick is if it was in the top 4. Pacers were like, shoot, we got to keep this pick. So we tank. They tanked the rest of the season, but they got the 5th pick. So that pick went back to the Clippers. So in this amazing draft, the Clippers luck out and get the 5th overall pick because they already had to give their pick to the Thunder. Their other pick to the Thunder. So the Thunder are going to be the 12th pick. Which, believe it or not, the Thunder had a 1.1% chance of getting like a top 4 pick, which would have been nuts, right? Because then the rich would get richer. But luckily, they stayed at 12. They're still going to be able to probably get another good player. But really interesting how the Pacers basically got screwed, basically losing their 5th pick to the Clippers. Clippers get saved. And what this does, too, with the Jazz being the 2nd overall pick, the Jazz, since he was in high school, had been wanting AJ Debinsa, a guy who chose BYU, Utah, right? Wants to keep him in the state. A lot of Utah following for this guy. They want AJ. Well, they don't have the number 1 pick. It might not be their choice to have AJ Debinsa. The Wizards have all the cards. So I think it's super interesting that even though many people think AJ should go number 1, will the Jazz make a trade to the Wizards to move up from 2 to 1? And the Wizards, they might look at Peterson and AJ Debinsa as, hey, both of these guys could go number 1. Kind of a toss-up, in terms of who might have the better career. All right, you want this pick so bad? Let's get an Ace Bailey, the number 1 top 5 pick last year, and then we'll take 2 as well. So the Wizards have all the cards. If another team like the Kings want to move up, if the Memphis want to move up, it's a deep draft. So it's not only a good position to be number 1, where you have these players that are going to be one of the best, going to be basically all-stars at the floor, right? Or you can move back, get another all-star because it's so deep, if you like one of these guys almost just as much, and then collect a lot of talent and picks going forward. So there's going to be some moving parts. Not to mention a lot of teams up because it's such a deep draft. Giannis is out there on the trade market. Do you package one of your top picks to go get Giannis? Do you throw Milwaukee, which is going to be anyone in the top 10 is going to be a really, really good player of this draft, which is not always the case. Do you package, hey, that's looking at Atlanta, they have a top pick here. I believe they are 8. Yeah, they're 8. So you can get a Cuff at Kingston Flemings. You can get a Brown Jr. from Louisville. Do you just throw Milwaukee and try to get a Giannis to your team with some future picks as well, and maybe throw in Dyson Daniels? Maybe it's a Dyson Daniels 8th overall future first rounder, and maybe some expirings for Giannis. I mean, that's a possibility. There's going to be a lot of moving parts. There's on Cavs. Are they going to get rid of Jared Allen? Are they going to cut ties with Mobley? The 2 bigs hasn't been working. Do they throw their first round pick? There might be some a lot of trades before we even get to the draft because of how deep this draft and who is up there in the top 10 trying to upgrade their team. So, all in all, a lot of intrigue, a lot of stuff going on in the NBA lottery. But, I mean, the biggest thing, Wizards, things are looking up. They got a great young roster. It is, for once in a long time, we have a lot of optimism over here in DC. So, that's my strike of the week there.
Like, Doug, if you were the Zards, what do you do?
If I'm the Zards, based on my interview with Peterson, as you guys know, Peterson going into this college basketball season, he was everyone considered the best player in the country. He was going in since high school as this guy's going to be number one, no doubt. The only reason why now people are putting him at 2 on mock drafts is because of this weird freshman season he had at Kansas, where he was playing, not playing, playing limited minutes. No one knew why. They kept it secret, which also causes a lot of this. No one really knows. Now is a recent story that he was using this type of creatine, which was giving him a lot of cramps and muscle spasms.
Creatine shits.
The creatine, alert. So watch out, all you creatine people. Watch out. So we have no idea. That's the only thing holding back. And when you watch Peterson, he has the most upside. Like, that dude can score at any level. There's really no flaws in his offensive game. It's just the off the court, this weird enigma that he is. He's kind of very soft spoken too. He has a Kawhi Leonard type of presence where he doesn't talk much, doesn't have this boisterous personality, so you don't really know what he's thinking. But if you're the Wizards, you do certain interviews, you do your research. There is this reason they got it under control. Why not collect? If Jazz really want this number 1 pick because they really want AJ, why not get what most people thought was the most talented player in the draft coming up into the season? Take him, take Ace Bailey, who showed a lot of promise last year, maybe get a future first rounder and call it a day. I think that would be the right play if you were the Wizards there.
Do you think they could trade down even further, almost start a bidding war, throw it out there that, hey, Utah reached out to us. Does anyone else want to move up? And maybe they slide to 4. Because like you said, it's such a deep draft that if they get a better offer from the Clippers or whatnot, do they just take that offer and say?
It's a great question. Here's how I answer that. I'm not calling anyone, but y'all can call me.
Yes,
y'all can call me. If I'm the Wizards, I got all the cards. I'm not panicking. I'm sitting back. Hey, I got the number 1 pick. I'll take whatever you guys want to listen to. I mean, whatever you guys want to tell me, I'll listen. And if it's not as high as I like it, and it's not the package as big as I want it, then keep giving me more offers. Because like you said, the Wizards, honestly, I think one of the best fits. I know they have Trae Young there, but you could ship him off once he can learn behind Trae for a year, then ship him off as he's expiring the following year. I love Acuff. Outside of Trae Young, before Trae Young was the Wizards, we really didn't have a point guard. Bub showed some flashes, but we kind of know he's not going to be a starting point guard. He's a good maybe guy potentially that comes off the bench. We have good wing guys already. Keyshawn George showed a lot of promise. Will Riley showed a lot of promise. Trey Johnson, great catch and shoot, great shooter. He's a microwave type of wing player as well. We have Sar underneath. So I think your bigger, weaker parts is having a second forward that can protect Sar, and then the point guard up until Trae Young was the weaker spot. So yeah, if the Clippers want to move up to 1 and they want to give me a Godfather offer, and I go and get Darius Acuff down at 6, or 5, so what? Brooklyn wants to make that deal, I'll listen. But if I'm the Wizards, realistically, you don't want to, there's been a long history of screwing things up. That's a big risk if you drop that. If you drop that far down, you better really believe in who you're getting there. Otherwise, I think you got to stay within the top 2 guys, because I think between Darius Peterson and AJ, Darren Peterson and AJ, you got to pick one of those 2. So I think just to be safe.
Do you think Trey Young and Anthony Davis will ever play a game for the Wizards?
It's a great question. Trey Young will. Anthony Davis, TBD. I would give it a 60-40 chance, 60% chance he plays a little bit. And hopefully he learns. He does. I think he doesn't want to be on the Wizards, but
Does Trey Young want to be on the Wizards?
Dude, no one's trading for you. Like, your value's so low, the Wizards are just going to keep you. If you want to move to another team, you need to go and play, the first quarter of the year, up your value, so the Wizards now have a reason to collect something from you. The Wizards have no reason to trade you unless they get a good package back. Right now, his value is low enough. They're going to wait. They'd rather you see some value. So Trey Young, I think he will play. I think he wants to be in DC because it's a team that he can kind of be the guy again. They have a lot of rookies. He can kind of lead a bunch of rookies. He can kind of look at DC as a new way to win over a city. I think he kind of got bad there at the end, Atlanta. And so this is a basically where he can kind of have a second act of his career, and kind of take a new team and show everyone that he can take another team to, what he did with Atlanta that one year to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Did the Zards want him to play for them? Because I believe you said you ran into former Notre Dame head coach Mike Bray, who's an assistant for the Hawks in the airport, and he was talking to his pilots and basically said, "Thank God we got rid of Trey Young because we'll never win anything with him here."
Those are pretty much his words. He said, because the pilots asked about why they got rid of him or whatever, and he was like, was he gonna did he sell a lot of tickets? Yeah, but we were never gonna win with him.
Well, they won a lot that 1 year. They were pretty close to there of getting all the way. Now, does he have some limitations? Yes. Obviously, the biggest one is defensively. But here's the thing about the Wizards. They built their team with a lot of length and a lot of rim protection. Sarr's an unbelievable rim protector. Their wings are lanky. They can switch on a lot of guys on the perimeter on the wings. Even they have Bilal, right? Koulibaly. There you go. I said the name right. He's an unbelievable defender. So they've kind of insulated that team with a lot of good wing and rim protection, where he can kind of cover up Trey's biggest weakness. In Atlanta, they had no one covering up the defensive, deficiencies that Trey Young has. So yeah, he was right. They would never win with the way they built that team. And I think Trey Young, it showed. We'll see. I think it was a wake-up call. When when you think you're good and the only thing that Atlanta's getting back was CJ McCollum, which at the time no one really wanted. Trey Young's got to look in the mirror. He's like, dude, my value is CJ McCollum. That's my value. That tells you what the league thinks.
The guy who couldn't even score on Doug Howard, that's CJ McCollum.
Did not say that. But, right? I mean, no. I think so. I think, yes. Ideally, I think long term, he's probably not going to be for the Wizards. Could he help make offense easier for some of the rookies? That's where he helps. He can make life easier for Sarr rolling to the basket. He can make easier for the wings because everyone's collapsing on Trey and paying attention to Trey. So he can help these younger guys for these next 2 years as they get their feet underneath them offensively to make life easier. So that's the one thing I will say.
So you're saying I can walk around now with my Juan Dixon Wizards jersey with pride. Is that what you're saying?
You can always do that.
I was going to say that.
Damn right.
Champion.
Juan Dixon's a national champion.
Goddamn right he is.
That's right.
Anything else before we hit the button again?
Nope.
Right, hit it, boy. Ring them up. All right, so for my strike, this is now going to be a very boy-centric show. I went with Alek Manoah from
West by God, Virginia.
Yep, thank you. Alek Manoah, the pitcher. He returned to the big leagues for the first time in over 700 days this past weekend. The former All-Star, he pitched 6 scoreless innings of relief, giving up just 2 hits over 2 separate appearances for the horribly named Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, since he was activated off the injured list. He finished number 3 in the 2022 AL Cy Young race when he posted a 60-7 record with a 2.24 ERA across 31 starts in Toronto. But he hadn't pitched since May 29th of 2024. Didn't pitch in the majors at all last year. I think was signed by the Braves and like waived. Never even got close. After that 2022 season, 23 and 24 just like lost. Like literally like Chuck Knobloch, Rick Ankiel yips. And to see him back on the mound was a pretty nice story, I thought. 6 scoreless innings. He did walk 5 guys, which is not
what you want to see from
But-
a guy that had a lot of command issues, which is why he got booted from the league.
But still, 6 scoreless innings is 6 scoreless innings. It doesn't matter the other stuff.
No, I mean,
now, long term, those underlying metrics normally come back to haunt you in baseball, and you have some regression to the mean. But 6 scoreless innings is pretty good. I thought that was amazing. 700 days.
That's awesome. That's a great little comeback there. I mean, yeah, you said finished 3rd in Cy Young in 2022. I remember the All-Star game with John Smoltz in his ear, and it was like, dude, how can you not love Alek Manoah, man? Like him talking with Smoltz about what pitches they're throwing against the best hitters, and he's just mowing them down. Like this guy's going to be in the league for a long time. But baseball humbles you so fast, and the MLB does not give a shit what you did the previous year.
Yeah,
I mean, if you cannot perform, you're gone.
I believe there is an old saying that there's 2 different types of players in the majors: those who are humble and those who are about to be humbled. And I mean, it's crazy because when you do look at his stats, like the drop is precipitous. I mean, that 2022 year, that is like phenomenal. Like that's winning Cy Youngs in a lot of years. It really is. 2.24 ERA across like almost 200 innings is outrageous, right? But then you look at it and it's this guy been a ghost essentially since then. So I thought it was very good, even though it's the Angels, and I mean, God, the Angels are.
It's still getting back.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Still getting back to the show.
Yep, someone's still carrying your bag for you like they weren't before. So yeah, thought that was cool. Wanted to highlight it. I knew the boy would be happy about it because now there's another West Virginia reference in this show. Like we didn't have enough already. But yeah, Alek Manoah.
We're back. wait till I don't know if Doug saw it, but our basketball team, we got Miles Sadler. Like that was the highest recruit, like one of the highest recruits in program history. One of the best point guards in the country.
Yeah, they might be back on the mountaintop.
Oh boy,
good one.
It's all
a good one.
It's all coming together now.
A lot of people are saying we're the Bella Vista Mountaineers because we took like 3 of their guys. I get like whatever that ridiculous high school is.
Yep.
Out in Arizona, I think, or something.
Yep. Yeah.
And so we took 3 of their guys. It's like our highest recruiting class. The transfer portal, we're hitting hard. In Ross Hodge, we trust Ross and our Hodge here. And then, Rich Rod's going to get the boys back in football shape. So,
all right.
Allegedly.
A lot of good things.
A lot of good things.
Cooking up there. Is Owen Schmidt going to put on some pads?
Rich Rod did specifically go get a fullback from Arizona who's like 5'11", 250. And like the first clip
my type of metrics,
like spring practice is this dude like going nuts. We're like, okay, we got our Owen Schmidt.
We got
no one's gonna be Owen Schmidt. No. That dude was an absolute freak. But
we got our maniac back.
Went out and got a fullback.
Freak train.
The runaway beer truck.
Now that's a great call. Was that Gus? No, who?
Yes, it was.
What was that Gus?
In the
Fiesta Bowl, right?
That was Gus in the Fiesta Bowl. Yeah, that was the runaway beer truck. They put up his like stat line. There's like a picture of his stat line, which is the funniest shit. It's like, or his measurables. It's like ran a 4.55. He's like 235 pounds or whatever. His vertical is this, and then it says, and he has 10 career broken face masks.
Yes. Well, yeah, we need to bring fullbacks back. Fullbacks made football. Made football fun. I'll give it. I don't give a damn about wide receivers. Who cares? Take them. Run the damn ball, please. Please. Um, Anything else before we move on to our favorites?
No.
Right. That's going to take us to our favorites segment, brought to you as always by One Legacy Title and Escrow in Jacksonville, Florida. Follow them on Instagram at One Legacy Florida and visit them at onelegacyflorida.com to see how they can help you with your next house closing. One Legacy Title and Escrow, because your legacy matters. This week, we went with, instead of a list of our favorites, we decided to bring back the exercise we did last week with the NHL, where we had a salary cap that was the same as the NHL, and we created our own roster based off of the current this year's salaries and who we wanted. We decided to do that before the NBA. Now, the NBA, as we were discussing pre-show, is a little different, right? NHL and I believe the NFL have a hard salary cap where, I mean, it is this number and you cannot go over it. There's no exceptions, nothing. Whereas the NBA has what we call like a soft cap, where you have different levels that have different exceptions. And like, if you go over this amount, you lose X privileges to do this. And then it's all convoluted stuff. Like you pay X penalty. So basically, when you look at the total salaries of each team, there's like two teams that are actually below the salary cap, because there's a number, it's like 156 or something like that. There's like two teams that are below it, right? So instead of doing it where you have that and we make it a hard cap, what I did is I created a rough average of all of the team's salaries, all 30 teams. What is the average amount that all 30 teams spend on player salaries? And so that came up to about $178 million. So we decided to make our rosters with a $178 million hard cap just for this exercise of who we would want for an NBA team based off of just this year's salaries. So again, NBA salaries oftentimes are weird, where it'll be like, oh, this guy makes $18 million this year. You know, he makes $20 million the next year. And then the third year it jumps up to like $39 million or out of nowhere, right? So not looking at any of that stuff, just what they make in this 2025, 2026 NBA year. And so the rosters had to be 15 active guys on your roster. You can only dress 13, so you have to have your two guys that don't dress. And then you have 3 two-way contracts. And all that total of 18 guys goes into your $178 million cap. Now, I defer to the expert, the great Doug Howard. I assume Doug wanted to go first to give us his salary compliant, what caught my eye, salary compliant NBA team.
So, I mean, I think I created the best roster of all time here. Not to overly brag here,
Is
but
CJ McCollum on it?
I spent a lot of time. How did you know? How did you know? You nailed it, and we'll get to that in a second. TJ McConnell will always be on any team I construct, just so you know. A veteran, savvy PG off the bench to run that second unit. Who else would you want to have? Hard-nosed. Anyways, it starts. I was able to get the top 3 players in the NBA right now on the same team. Nikola Jokic, best player in the league by far. Need to have him on the team, making 55. He's my most expensive guy on the team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's making a 38.3. Might be a back-to-back MVP. And then Victor Wembanyama, still on a rookie contract.
Yes.
So 13.4. So point guard, SGA. I got my shooting guard, Dante DiVincenzo, before the injury. I'm guessing he's completely healthy. A great elite 3-and-D and hustle player. At the 3, Jalen Williams, OKC, only making 6.6 this year. Does everything. Starter, multi-level creator. On this roster, he can do it all.
Now, did you get the correct Jalen Williams? Because there are 2 Jalen Williams on OKC.
It's the correct one.
Okay.
His extension doesn't hit till next year. His $35 million per year extension. I had to make sure I had the right one. But yeah, Victor Wembanyama at the 4, and Jokic at the 5.
Good.
Come on. My bench is where it gets great. A lot of good guys on rookie deals. So TJ McConnell, actually making more than basically the rest of these guys. 10.2. Jalen Duren. There's my big coming off the bench, also bringing some physicality. If you want to mess with Joker, if you want to mess with Victor, well, watch out. Duran's coming off the bench to put an elbow in your eye. Uh, Carson Wallace, an elite lockdown defender and great 40% three-point shooter. You got Peyton Watson, wing defensive specialist and a good shooter as well. You got Keontae George, making only 4.2, an unbelievable player. I know he's hidden in Utah, but he's one of the best young players in the league right now. I got Jaquez Jr., was most people's Sixth Man of the Year award nominee, and he's probably he's one of my 10th player here. AJ Mitchell, OKC, only making $3 million. People are going to be off after him on the open market. He's going to break another 27 probably next year, but he is unbelievable. You saw in these playoffs how good he's been. Julian, for this, I always say this name wrong. I always say Champagne, but it's Champagne. Julian, he's great, 3-and-D as well. And then just to top it off, Sam Merrill, another perimeter shooter, to space out, and Jose Alvarado, defensive. Just a guy he's going to be one of my reserves, but he's a guy that's just going to be a defensive chaos, that specialist. So if I'm dressing 13, my starting five, again, to recap, is SGA at the 1, Dante at the 2, Jalen Williams at the 3, Victor at the 4, Jokic at the 5. Coming off the bench, I got TJ McConnell by point. I got Carson Wallace, Keontae George, Jalen Duren, and Peyton Watson as 10 guys. For my 11, 12, and 13, I'm going to do Jaquez Jr., Sam Merrill, and AJ Mitchell. Those guys are my active roster guys. What do we think, boys?
I love it. Who your did you put 2-way contract guys? Did you
Yeah,
have
I got
any?
my 2-way. Believe it or not, I believe I guess I should have double checked, but Jenkins, Detroit Pistons, was a 2-way guy for the Pistons, and he's been balling out. And some might say their second or third best scorer. So I got Jenkins as a 2-way and Ryan Nembhard as a 2-way for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Some NBA experience. Yep, final experience. So those are my 2-way guys.
I like it. I love it, Doug. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Boy.
So I did very similar to Doug with the Jokic and Wemby. I feel like all of us have to have Wemby. I'm sure Nick somehow figured out a way not to.
No, I did.
You actually did. Okay.
I mean, like Doug said, he's still on that rookie contract, and I mean,
you have to have him.
Second or third best player in the league right now.
And once that contract expires, he's going to be making $60 million a year. So it's like that's just the best value you're ever going to get.
And then I went Jalen Brunson as my 1 because I just love the way he plays. I went Ty Jerome, like I wasn't going to have Ty Jerome on this team. Of course, I had to have him. And then I went Josh Hart as my other. So I had Brunson, Jerome, Hart, Wemby, Jokic is my starting 5. And then I'm going to go with Deuce McBride, of course.
I knew that would be there.
Jay Huff.
Yeah.
Javon Small.
I knew he'd be on your team. Another Mountaineer.
Hell yeah. He was
awesome. With your heart over there.
These are the only players I know, Doug.
The next one, Sam.
Is Pittsnoggle on your team? Do you have Kevin Pittsnoggle coming off the bench?
Darius Miles.
I got Deshaun Butler.
Joe Alexander.
Joe Alexander
was awesome. Yes.
I went Sam Hauser, of course.
I got it. From?
He's from UVA.
Yes, he is.
/ Marquette.
Yes.
Asar Thompson.
Yeah.
Joe Ingles.
Oh, I love Joe Ingles. If this were a few years ago, he might be on my starting team. just goon it up there, Joe. Love Joe Ingles.
Hugo Gonzalez. Tyler Kolek.
Oh yeah, from
Another
Marquette.
Marquette guy. Yeah. Anthony Gill,
Mm-hmm.
another UVA guy, and then Doug McDermott.
Oh gosh, Who does he play for still?
I don't remember.
Lucky McBuckets, baby.
Yeah.
Who was he? Well, I don't know where I found found him on the roster, but I found him, and I was like, "All right, Doug McDermott, 3.6. You're on my team."
Yes.
The two-way guys, I did Javon Carter, of course.
He's on a two-way contract?
I have no idea. He might not even be in the league, but I want him.
No, he is. No, there's specific guys that are on a two-way. Their contract is a two-way contract, so it's not like you can designate who you want. Boy,
why can't I?
That's not how it works. Because there's certain things like you can't be a veteran and have a two-way contract, right? Like it's like what they used to do with the practice squad in the NFL.
He is not on a two-way.
No, he's not. It has to be designated two-way contract.
All right, I'm gonna have to cut Javon Carter then. I'll have to figure something else out there.
Yeah.
Brandon Carlson. Found
Who?
him. Brandon Carlson. I don't know. I found him on a roster. He's on a two-way. And then Max Shulga.
Allegedly. From VCU.
From VCU. Yeah.
Is he on I don't think he's on a two-way contract, though.
Yes, he is.
You sure? I know John Tonji from Wisconsin is on one. Because I thought about taking...
2-year, two-way, promoted from a two-way deal.
Correct.
After a strong G League.
Yes, so he's not on a two-way contract, so your whole roster is fucked.
He's not cap compliant. He's not roster compliant. He's out.
Well, I'll pay
He's
the
out.
luxury
He's
tax.
disqualified already.
They don't do
The luxury tax.
they take away... I don't think they do a luxury tax. They take away, like, privileges from you or whatever it is.
It's called a second apron. Anyways,
Yeah.
All right. Interesting roster there. Nick.
Good grief. All right, so my
best competition here.
The starting five was good.
It was okay. You had two good players on it, maybe three.
What are you talking about? I had Brunson, Wemby, and Jokic.
Yeah, Ty Jerome, not great. Not great player this year. Did not play well this year. Who else was the other one?
I will not stand for that slander.
Who was the other one?
Who else was my other? Josh Hart.
Okay.
I just love Josh Hart.
Yeah, I know you do. You picked everyone you loved. It just doesn't make it mean.
Right.
I went with a lot of Villanova, UVA, and West Virginia players.
You did.
You're like a guy in fantasy football draft who's like a 49ers fan that just picks all 49ers. And then they wonder why they like 1-11 in the season.
But Kyle Juszczyk scored a touchdown this week.
See his blocking ability? He's two-way threat.
So I do have a lot of similar players as the boy, but my starting lineup, my point guard is Peyton Pritchard from the Celtics. My 2 is Anthony Edwards because he's one of my favorite players right now. 3 is Josh Hart. And then my 4, I have Bam Adebayo, and 5, Victor Wembanyama. So I deviated from the Jokic one and threw Bam in there as a way to get...
This also feels like what we did with hockey, where we all had Connor Hellebuck because we were like, he's the best goaltender. Like, how do you not have Jokic, who's the best player?
Because I use my money elsewhere.
We'll see where he use it because he still has Josh Hart in the starting lineup. All right, keep going.
Most notably in my second unit. So my point guard for my second unit is Ty Jerome, of course, from UVA. And then my shooting guard, one of my favorite players is Bruce Brown. I love Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown does everything you need to do to win. Every team he's on wins. From Miami. I don't even know if Bruce Brown was drafted, to be honest. But does everything you want. Every time you watch Bruce Brown play, there will be some possession where he somehow gets an offensive rebound and a putback inside of all the trees. And you're like, well, how did he just do that? Where'd that come from? And just stealing buckets all over the court. Bruce Brown does everything you want. At the small forward position, I have Con Kneppel as my 3 there. My 4 for my second unit is Jay Huff from
UVA.
Yes, he is. And my 5 on that second unit is Jarrett Allen, who I said earlier I also like. Him and Bruce Brown were the first 2 guys I picked for this team.
Idaho State.
Oh, no. Jarrett Allen.
Oh, sorry. Texas.
Yes. But yes, Jarrett Allen is my 5 on my second unit. And then my three other reserves: Walker Kessler, another rim protector; Cam Spencer, who was one of the top 3-point percentage shooters this year; and Javon Carter, because he's not on a two-way contract. So he's one of my three reserves on the bench. And then the two guys I didn't dress are Pat Spencer, Cam Spencer's older brother, who was a record-setting lacrosse player at Loyola, then played 1 year at Northwestern, and is, again, not on a two-way contract anymore for the Warriors. And Mamadi Diakite from
UVA as well.
from UVA, making like
The
less
national
than
champions, Doug.
Yes, he is a national champion. He's making less than $500,000, so he's my second non-dressed player. And then my two-way contracts, I have Hunter Dickinson at $636K. Mac McClung. Yeah. Hunter Dickinson, coached by
your boy, Evolution, baby. Evolution basketball. Let's go.
The great Doug Howard in Evolution basketball. Mac McClung is at $215K, and then Yuki Kawamura, the point guard from Japan, $312,000. So my starting lineup again: Pritchard, Ant-Man, Josh Hart, Bam, and Wemby, and then I had Ty Jerome, Bruce Brown, Con Kneppel, Jay Huff, Jared Allen, Walker Kessler, Cam Spencer, and Javon Carter on my bench. Doug, how did we fuck up?
I don't want to rip you guys too much. I know this isn't your forte, the NBA, but Nick, I would put you at second place. Steven, sorry. You picked with your heart.
Hey, my starting five is better than Knicks. I'm gonna take my starting five over Knicks, and in basketball, all I need is like 7 people.
You guys, you picked with a lot of you guys did some, you picked with your heart, and sometimes in life that's a great thing, to go with your heart. When it comes to an NBA salary cap, not always the greatest decision making is from your heart. So I'll just leave it at that. Listeners out there, would love for your comment. Who do you think? But in my estimation, my team would wipe the floor of these two teams from top to bottom. I think, Nick, your two-way guys, you definitely got me on the two-way guys. I think your two-way guys would beat my two-way guys in a 3-on-3 competition. But in terms of the roster, I think, you really got to look. I think you guys you really got to look, especially when you're talking about the bench, is really look at basically the guys who are on the rookie deals that get all league guys. Keontae George is an all-league guy when he's making a rookie contract, to have him as your 8th guy. And that's what I think when I started doing this was the way to go. Have your 3 main guys, your top-level guys, and fill your bench with basically guys on rookie contracts who are basically, again, all-stars, all-league guys. Peyton Watson, he's going to make a $30 million contract next season. Carson Wallace, another guy who's going to be making $25 to $40 million. Jalen Durns, he might make an all NBA. He might be making an all NBA team, and he's only making 6.5. So I think Hawk, as we talked about him, when you really talk about your bench, instead of just taking your traditional bench guys that right now are in the NBA, which a lot of them seem like, is look at guys who are basically all league guys on rookie contract deals still.
It's funny you say that because that's exactly what we did in the NHL one. Now, I didn't have the same amount of time to look through everything for this one, so that's going to be my excuse. But that is the exact way we did it for the NHL was or especially me and Kamala did, was we picked who our stars were, how we wanted to construct the team, the style of play we wanted, and then how to get the best guys out of rookie contracts. We each had Macklin Celebrini.
No,
all of us, all 3 of us had.
I will say, I think it's interesting though. None of us had Cooper Flagg, which he falls under that. Yes, obviously at the number 1 overall pick, like with Wemby, it's like 13 some million, so it's a lot more than like a $4 or $5, $6 million rookie. But at the same time, though, with the production that you get out of Cooper Flagg, he's almost already worth way more than $13.4 million.
Absolutely, that's a good, maybe a blind spot we didn't get to.
I filled that void with Con Kneppel because on my second team, I wanted the knockdown shooter to go with the other people I had there. So I was like, I'd rather take the guy who is, I mean, what he finished was it like top 5, top 3 in 3-point percentage this year, something absurd for a 20-year-old kid at this level. So that was the reason I had him, and I also wanted Jarrett Allen, who makes $20 million a year. But to me, I thought that was money better spent to help protect Wemby and Bam and have him on my second unit. But yes, I mean, you're right. Like, that really is the strategy. If you're doing this just for a year, is find the top rookies who are on rookie deals, because that literally is the most bang for your buck you're going to get. Load up on a handful of them. Not necessarily, like you said, they don't have to be on your starting lineup. Even the hockey ones, we didn't have those guys starting. But load up. Well, actually, I'd say we all Celebrini is like on that level of, like, your Wemby's at this point.
Yeah.
But load up on a few of those guys, so that allows you to allocate money if you want Jokic and Anthony Edwards and some of these other dudes that cost $40, $50, $60 million a year. So
Yeah,
I know. I think it's a worthwhile exercise.
No, it's a fun exercise for sure, and I think it's a good idea. I think also when you do have, and that's kind of the idea with two, is I had a few guys on rookie deals, but then sprinkled in like TJ McConnell. Kind of, if you're going to come off the bench with some of those guys, have a guy who's kind of been there, get them in the right spots. And Carson Wallace, who's been on a NBA championship caliber team, he's been through the ringer a little bit too. So I was thinking about that way as well, because that's the risk reward you get if you have too many of those guys. And then I think in my starting lineup, I was really thinking, Jokic and Victor Wembanyama is like, it probably would be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like, it probably would be unstoppable. The high-low, they both can switch, change out. You can have a high-low replace action.
Both can shoot.
They both can help give space into each other.
Yep.
That would be it would be unfair. It would be unfair, and I think that's why I think you're right with just Steven. We're starting with those two guys. I think it's almost, if you start with those two and build everything else around there, you kind of win the game already. Because Victor is making 13-4, so it doesn't even break the bank for you, and you're getting an unstoppable duo. So good fun exercise. I spent probably way too much time on it.
Yeah, I was Hoops Hype is what I used to track salary info and two-way contract info, because just again, Javon Carter is not on a two-way contract.
That's the lesson of today's podcast. How much national championships Virginia Tech has in rifling. And West Virginia. Sorry, Virginia Tech has none, I think you said.
None in anything, Doug.
Two takeaways today's podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Rifle championships and know your two-way contracts.
Yes. Because I think you can only, I believe it said you can only have 3 per team, right? You can only have 3 two-way contracts per team. So you had 18 guys, because you couldn't load up on two-way contracts either. Like, that could have been a strategy. They'd be like, oh, I'm going to get all these guys with the least amount of money, but you couldn't. When I was going through the contracts, I did see Ricky Rubio is on there for like $400,000. I was like, oh, that would be a sweet inclusion. But I don't think he's played in the last like 2 years, because he's like just on the payroll, right? Like, he's essentially getting paid to Bobby Bonilla. But if that weren't the case, I think I would have thrown him in like it was like Taj Gibson or someone was down there getting paid money, like just a few $100,000 to not play. I was like, oh, these guys are sweet. But
I know I was giving you guys, crap about picking with your heart. I will say, here's the order of my thought initially: must have Joker, must have Wembanyama, must have TJ McConnell.
Yes.
And then I build the roster from there.
Yeah, seriously, the first 2 guys I wrote down are Jarrett Allen and Bruce Brown, because I was actually surprised at how much money Jarrett Allen makes. That kind of threw me off a little bit, because I was expecting him to be around like because Bruce Brown only makes $3 million, which I think is criminal for the value he adds to your roster. But so much of that is, well, show me statistics that will justify us having to pay you more, and that's where you don't get it. But he does everything for you. So those are my first people I wrote down. on my list here.
Cool.
And Jay Huff was third because he makes like no money too. But he lit it up this year. He did really well.
He did.
But yeah, anything else before we wrap this up in our final segment?
Nope.
That's going to take us to our what to look for segment, brought to you as always by VB Cookie Co. Looking for the perfect way to stand out at the next event you are hosting? Well, custom cookies are a timeless way to have everyone still buzzing even after they leave. Look no further for your cookie needs than VB Cookie Co. Follow them on Instagram at VB Cookie Co. and message them to order yours today. Whether it is a bridal shower, birthday, engagement, or baby shower, their team will work with you to make all your cookie dreams come true. VB Cookie Co. for the sweetest moments. Boy, give the people something to look for.
How about NHL Game 6, Sabres Canadiens?
Oh, the Buffalo win?
Or sorry, Game 5. It will be Game 5. It's tied 2-2. Yep.
Okay.
Tied 2-2, Game 5, Sabres Canadiens. These two teams legitimately hate each other. And I am loving it. I am all for it. That is a nasty, nasty series.
Yeah.
So I love it. Like usually you go like the intensity is ratcheted up in the Stanley Cup finals or the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you get like some chippiness and all that stuff, but at the end of the day they're like, oh, whatever, like it's just intense. I think these two teams legit hate each other, which is fun to see. So I'm glad the series is tied, and we can hopefully knock off another Canadian team.
You got hate in your heart, let it out. All right, Doug, give the people something to look for.
Instead of going to the NBA route, I'm going to go switch it up. This week is the PGA Championship for golf, so looking forward to catching that. Can Cam Young continue to stay hot? Is Scotty going to get back and actually win a tournament? He's been knocking on doors, trying to get his game in shape. So we'll see if he goes, and we'll see if Rory's fresh off a Masters win if he can get the second one this year. So looking forward to seeing some good golf here this week.
I love it. It's being played. I've never heard of this place. Aronimink.
It's outside Philly.
Outside of Philly. The last time they hosted a PGA Championship was 1962 when Gary Player won. The other thing that is not talked about enough, like it felt like before last year when Rory won the Masters, before every Masters, one of the biggest storylines was, will Rory win this to complete the career Grand Slam? But for essentially all that time they had that storyline, Jordan Spieth's been missing the PGA Championship for the career Grand Slam, but no one brings it up. And I think partly because, 100% true, yeah. Partly because the PGA is the least talked about of the four majors. I would almost argue it's less talked about than the Players Championship. And the PGA always moves around, right? Obviously, the Masters is in the same place. So that same storyline with Rory was just revisited every year. But Jordan needs the PGA, and he's needed it for a decade at this point. So,
wow.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on there.
He's been playing well. I mean, he's been playing well this year. Last year he did not. This year he's playing a lot better, so he has a chance.
Yeah, I was reading about him. He described his game as whack-a-mole golf. Essentially, he was like, yeah, I'll lead like the field 1 week in like strokes gained off the tee, but then I'll putt like garbage. But the next week I'll lead the field in strokes gained putting. So he's like, I haven't put it all together yet, so I feel like there's a chance. So if he does, like you said, he's been playing a lot better than what we've been used to seeing him the last couple of years. If he puts it all together, we could see him, maybe I want to say exercise some demons, because it's nowhere near like the pressure Rory had been under at the Masters coming into last year. But again, if he wins it, he'd be, I believe, the seventh man to do it. I want to say I saw that.
Yeah,
which is as elite as you can get. I got a few here for us. I noticed this on the baseball side. It is the interleague rivalry weekend. So you have Yankees, Mets, Nats, O's, Royals, Cardinals, Reds, Guardians, Cubs, White Sox, Dodgers, Angels, and Giants, A's. And you do have the Marlins and the Rays, but I was hesitant to put that on there because it was almost like
Marlins will soar.
So, like, we have more people attending this podcast right now than there will be attending those games. But it's the same, technically the same thing, right? That in-state travel thing. So I thought that was kind of cool. They have all those lined up this weekend happening. Men's
By the way, before you move off of baseball a little bit, 10 years ago, I think it was like last week or this last weekend, 10 years ago, Max Scherzer, 20 punches.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Again, I was at that game, actually.
Was it the Pirates? Is that who that was against?
No, it was not the Pirates. It was the Tigers.
Tigers?
It was that loaded lineup Tigers. I think it was like Kinsler, Miggy,
Victor Martinez.
Yeah, that lineup was JD Martinez. Yeah, that was the most impressive.
Torrey Hunter on that team?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm not sure, but yeah, I was at that game. That was 10 years ago.
That's kind of wild. Men's lacrosse NCAA quarterfinals. You have Johns Hopkins, not to be confused with Johnny Hopkins. They will travel to Notre Dame. Penn State, number 8 seed, takes on number 1 seed Princeton. Georgetown goes to Durham to take on Duke. And then to me, the game of them all is number 6 Syracuse at number 3 UNC. On May 1st, UNC beat Cuse 12-10 in the ACC semis. And then they also beat them 14-9 on April 4th in Chapel Hill, which is where this game will be played. So that's an interesting wrinkle. Can you beat the same team 3 times in one season? It's really hard to do. It almost is like you have to, like our degenerate gambler AJ Pittis would probably say stay away from this game, because it almost seems unlikely that you can be able to beat them 3 different times. But I thought that was interesting and something to look for. And the last one here, the Italian Open. It's the last big clay court tournament before Roland Garros. It wraps up this weekend. Coming into filming tonight, Jannik Sinner was riding a 25-match winning streak after he defeated Alexei Popyrin in the 3rd round of the Italian Open. The last time Sinner lost a match was at the Qatar Open on February 19th. If Sinner can claim the title in Rome, he will become just the 2nd man after the other Joker, Novak Djokovic, to win all 9 of the Masters 1000 events at some point in their career, which is kind of remarkable. So something to look for there. Anything else before we wrap this debacle up?
Nope.
All right, so that's going to do it for us. That's going to do it for us here at What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. Remember, follow us on all of our social media. That's on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. For the boy, Stephen Vesci, and for the great Doug Howard, who's been nice enough to grace us with his presence on this lovely Tuesday evening, I am the coach, Nick Vesci. Don't forget to be decent to each other. Have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care, Guatemala.